Well, things are getting interesting in Russia. Following on from my video about Yevgeny Prigozhin a week ago, it sounds like the pot has well and truly boiled over. Now, I need to point out that the situation is beyond confused, and the long and the short of it is that it seems that the simmering tensions between Prigozhin, head of the Wagner mercenary group, and Shoigu, commander of the Russian military, has reached its explosive climax. Yesterday, Prigozhin posted a video on his social media channels showing what he claimed was an attack on Wagner facilities, assumably where he was at, conducted by the Russian military. In a statement, he said, "Today, a missile strike was launched against us, then helicopters, then artillery. The command to destroy PMC Wagner was given by the Chief of General Staff after a meeting with Shoigu. And as a result, Prigozhin has reacted about how you'd expect for a man who runs one of the most powerful private militaries on the planet."
Совет командиров ЧВК «Вагнер» принял решение. Зло, которое несет военное руководство страны, должно быть остановлено. Они пренебрегают жизнями солдат. Они забыли слово «справедливость», и мы вернем ее. Поэтому те, кто уничтожили сегодня наших парней, те, кто уничтожили многие десятки тысяч жизней русских солдат, будут наказаны. Я прошу никому не оказывать сопротивления. Те, кто будут пытаться оказать это сопротивление, мы будем считать, что это угроза, и уничтожать немедленно, включая любые блокпосты, вставшие на нашем пути, любую авиацию, которую увидим над своими головами. Я прошу всех сохранять спокойствие, не поддаваться на провокации, оставаться в своих домах, желательно по маршруту нашего следования не выходить на улицу. После того, как мы закончим начатое, мы вернемся на фронт для защиты нашей Родины. Президентская власть, правительство, МВД, Росгвардия и другие структуры будут работать дальше в привычном порядке. Мы разберемся с теми, кто уничтожает русских солдат, и вернемся на фронт. Справедливость в войсках будет восстановлена, а после этого справедливость для всей России.
Now, the current situation is a complete mess, but having ordered the mobilization of his Wagner group against the Russian MOD, Prigozhin has, in his own words, marched into the Russian city of Rostov-on-the-Don. Continuing to post throughout the night, Prigozhin stated that many army units allowed the, rebels I suppose, to pass unhindered into the city. Indeed, he followed up with a post that aircraft had circled his men on their march, but had refused to attack them. Prigozhin, with his very public statements, is very much portraying himself as a Russian patriot who is seeking to restore justice to Russia, and as a result is actively calling for Russian soldiers to join him. However, he doesn't seem to have been able to garner support for his move from other generals, with Surovikin, the commander of Russian forces in Ukraine, issuing a public statement calling on Wagner to stand down. There are now also unconfirmed reports that fighting has been observed in Rostov-on-the-Don, assumably between security forces and Wagner, if true. Again, I reiterate that this situation is remarkably fluid, and people are scrambling to figure out what is going on. However, the BBC's Russian service has reported that FSB and National Guard units have been mobilized along the Moscow to Rostov highway with orders to set up checkpoints and to open fire if under threat. Live traffic maps also indicate that the road north of Rostov has been closed. Additionally, there are reports of Russian troops mobilizing in other cities, including armoured vehicles outside the Kremlin itself. So what has caused this final break, and why Rostov? Rostov is the principal command center for the Russian military's operations in Ukraine. It is also their most vital logistics hubs for the special operation. As a result, should it fall to Prigozhin, he will effectively cut off the Russian army in Ukraine from both command and most of their supplies, which would be literally disastrous for them. And as for Prigozhin's actions and the alleged attack upon his men, Well, it could be because that yesterday he posted a video calling out the lies behind Russia's justification for the attack on Ukraine in the first place, and perhaps that was the final straw for Shoigu, and, assumably, Putin. Or it could be that in just over a week's time, Wagner's troops have to sign contracts making them part of the Ministry of Defense, something Prigozhin point blank refuses to allow. And so he has actually initiated the action, seeking to eradicate his rivals. After all, late on a Friday night in Russia is a pretty good time to make a surprise move. Whatever the reasons, things are going to be exceedingly interesting for the next few days.